During the first hours of today, before I went to bed around somewhere between 2 in the morning and 2:15 in the morning, I finished the regular bag of hot garlic shrimp chips, of which most of it was part of yesterday's dinner. I naturally woke up around 5:30 in the morning, well before the 6:30 in the morning alarm I set on my laptop. Using a third-party website. Around 7 in the morning, I had some scrambled eggs with my first cup of plain coffee for today. Both of which my mom prepared. I recall we left sometime between 7:25 and 7:30 in the morning. So my mom could drive me to the Wegmans I work at. My shift today was from 8 in the morning to 4:30 p.m. A full 8-hour shift. And long enough for me to have a 30-minute lunch. Which I took from 2:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. And during which I had a pre-made by Wegmans chef salad and 2 mini cans of regular V8 vegetable juice. I took my first 15-minute break at the usual planned time. After 4 hours, into my shift, or in this case, at noon. Though I ended up turning my first 15-minute break more into a 20-minute break. And took a few brief unofficial breaks that lasted a minute or two, as from noon to 1 p.m. the Wegmans I worked at held a small special event at where the prepared food section is, which is where you'll find sushi, pizza, and subs, all made by Wegmans. The first 20 minutes of the special event featured a live king salmon cutting. Essentially a live demonstration by two prepared foods department workers, chefs for that department, on how king salmon is cut to make king salmon rolls, as needed for some of Wegmans' pre-made sushi packs. Free samples were also provided during the event. I had a total of 3 though I suspect I had one free sample, the second one twice. Unintentionally, though I'm not entirely sure on that. I took my second official 15-minute break at 4 p.m. or half an hour before the end of my shift, throughout which I most prevalently restocked the hard item section of the produce department, which is essentially various onions and potatoes, and the banana section. Though I recall restocking the mushroom section in the hour between the end of my lunch and the start of my second official 15-minute break. I recall within the first few hours of my shift, in between restocking the banana section and the hard items section of the produce department, relatively briefly restocking the bulk wall of the produce department, which is on the right side, and then spending some more time, but still relatively briefly, compared to the banana and hard items section of the produce department, compared to the banana section and the hard items section of the produce department. The convenience wall, which is on the left side of the produce department. From the perspective of standing in front of the banana section, which is at the very back of the produce department, and facing towards the front of the produce department. Right after my shift, I went on a brief grocery shopping trip at the same Wegmans I worked at, getting 2 pre-made chef salads and a pre-made chicken cob with bacon pre-made salad. And 2 more True Energy aluminum cans, with True being the name of the brand and Energy being technically the flavor. But that flavor is intended for essentially the same function as an energy drink. I contemplated getting something else by the True drink brand, but ultimately decided against it, as nothing struck me out as I couldn't really make a decision on what else I would want at the time besides the True Energy aluminum cans. Around 6:45 p.m., I had a glass of whole milk like I just had, with a steak and a black pepper steak with udon noodles bowl, both of which my mom prepared, starting roughly around 6 p.m. As I was editing the June 8th, my dinner video in Camtasia 2019. I recall by the time my mom took me to the Wegmans I work at, around 7:25, 7:30 in the morning, I had reviewed 8 out of 18 minutes of raw video footage. And I did the rest during the mid-evening to early night hours. As for the small special event for International Sushi Day that the Wegmans I work at held, it was interesting seeing that king salmon cutting. At times I couldn't help but wonder if I would be able to recreate what I saw with me not having any training for that, and about how much practice time is required before one is able to recreate what I saw during the king salmon cutting, for which small numbers of customers and co-workers were present, including some I consider supervisors slash managers, hence why I felt comfortable turning my first 15-minute break into a 20-minute break to watch the whole king salmon cutting, since they were there too, with me at the time. The first free sample I tried was a default king salmon roll, and then the second and possibly third was something I was told had recently just been brought back. Instead of being traditionally rolled, it's kind of put into a sort of rectangle plastic mold and then cut up into smaller rectangles. I recall hearing about it raining during the morning hours. I didn't personally see that because I was inside the Wegmans I worked at the whole time, and it didn't rain while my mom was driving me to the Wegmans I work at. But I recall today's weather being pretty typical for summer, even though it's technically not summer yet, but very close. It was sunny and hot, but not to the point where I found it uncomfortable.